Thank you once again for tuning into the All Things Positive show. As always, we have a great show for you tonight. And I'd like to thank my guests, Mr. Richard Zaldivar and Eddie Martinez and Angie Apodaca from the Wall Las Memorias project. Thank you for being here and thank you for coming on. Your organization is doing a lot of great things in the community, and I wanted to have you on as a guest with your organization because I heard some great things about your projects. Who created the project?
Well, it was my vision, I guess, to build an AIDS monument to people who passed away from AIDS as a way of having a discussion, a focal point to address the issues of silence, denial, guilt, and shame. So the idea for the creation of the AIDS monument was mine.
And how did you? What was the motivation? What gave you that? Where did it come from? The
being Hispanic, being openly gay, and coming out as a gay man, I learned a lot of things. Our community, our culture has a lot of secrets, and I wanted to do something. I wanted to give back to the community. My best friend, I remember about 18, 19 years ago, came out and said I was HIV positive. And in those days, they don't have the medical combination therapies they have today. And back then, I remember the expression in his face was one of shame and rejection and isolation. And it really bothered me. And I wanted to give back to the community. And that's my dream.
You put it together. And how long has your project been around?
It's going to be 18 years, this coming World AIDS Day, December 1st.
Wow. Wow. And Mr. Martinez, you are involved with the organization in what level? What is your, what do you do?
I'm the Associate Director for the Wall Las Memorias, and I oversee our prevention programs. Our prevention programs is what we need to fight the virus in the community. You know, it's to empower individuals to take leadership in who they are and to be responsible, and that's one way of fighting the virus.
I see. And Richard, I know that we're going to get to you, Angie, in a minute. You're one of the volunteers. Angie's like, it's okay. That's very cute. Okay, getting to the president. Tell me, what is your mission, and not just what is your mission, but what makes your organization different from the other projects that are out there that works with AIDS awareness?
The mission of our organization is to educate the community and preserve the AIDS monument and create a place for healthy living. But more important, it's about building community. You just interviewed Eddie Martinez, who's been with the organization now 10 years. And I have to say that it's people like himself that are taking the power in the community to talk about HIV/AIDS, to take the responsibility. So we're different. We're grassroots. We do a lot of work in the community, not only in HIV/AIDS. We're addressing the whole issue of crystal meth. We're working with faith-based communities in Los Angeles to address HIV/AIDS, to work with them, understand their lingo, help them create HIV education prevention programs. So I'm really proud to be part of this organization that's small and has a staff of 10 people and a lot of dedicated volunteers, but it's a larger community, people who really care about putting the end to HIV/AIDS.
I see. Through awareness.
Absolutely, through awareness and empowerment and involvement and action.
So you basically, I mean, somebody calls up, you have people at your organization that will talk to them and say, hey, you know, come on in, let's talk, you know, what's going on, and you also counsel the people too, right?
Yeah, our main focus is education prevention. But you talk about volunteers. Last week we had a huge event at Dodger Stadium, our 7th annual Strikeout AIDS. We had hundreds of people on the field at Dodger Stadium creating a huge red ribbon. Angie, being an incredible volunteer, but also a mother who lost her son to AIDS, got to throw out the first ball at Dodger Stadium. We had Laura Diaz, Manny Mota from the Dodgers did a welcome. What was so important is that the people get to see a mom, an aunt, a grandma throwing out the pitch because she's making a statement about those people who died to a disease and they continue to die to a disease that's not openly discussed.
It's a valid point.
Very powerful.
Well, let me ask you this, just on a quick to the side, did you get a strike?
It was a strike.
Was it a strike?
It was a
Good
strike.
for you.
It was
Good
a
for you.
strike.
I know your organization does a lot of things. In the community, and you ran over some of them, but you know what? There were so many. I'd like you to tell the viewers out there, because I know you're doing things in Mexico, you're doing things here in LA, you're doing these projects, you're doing all these special events. Tell me some of the, just a list of things that your organization is doing. Just break it down.
Programs and services.
Programs.
Yeah, well, in terms of programs, what we provide is, as Richard mentioned, it's grassroots, it's community involvement. So we get clients coming in, people that want to make a difference, people that, like a family who lost a loved one, how could they give back in honor of their loved one? And so what we do is we get them involved, not only in taking care of themselves, but trying to make a difference in the community. And we'll have members march in the Mexican Independence Day Parade, collect clothes and necessities for an AIDS hospice in Tijuana, Caso de las Memorias.
Tell me about that organization. I want you to go on with the rest of the stuff, but tell me about what's going on there in Mexico, that movement you got going on now.
Well, several years ago, we were informed that there wasn't hospice in Tijuana, and so we decided to have an excursion down over there to visit the hospice, and we realized that they weren't getting the support they needed. As you know, stigma is very prevalent in Mexico, and AIDS is something that a lot of families don't talk about, and people are disowned for having HIV or AIDS. And this hospice in the back of factories and the outskirts of Tijuana on a dirt road, this place had no electricity, and it was just trying to survive on a day-to-day basis. Well, eventually the government closed it down, but Richard, through the calling from some of the activists in Tijuana, went down there and they fought to reopen it. And ever since then, we go down and pay a visit, because there are brothers and sisters down there. And that's what the hospice and the relationship's about to us.
So you guys basically, you pretty much, so for the most part, you support other agencies and organizations too in their war with awareness.
Well, we have to. I think what's important is that HIV/AIDS is not a gay disease.
Right. No, absolutely not.
It's everyone's disease.
Right.
It's our problem. It should be our concern. The fact that today we have medical combination therapies, people can live for a long time, learning early on that they're HIV positive. But in our community, we don't talk about things.
Right.
We don't talk about sex. We don't talk about sexuality. There's a lot of secrets that we keep.
True.
And so in our community, we find out that we're HIV positive when it's really, really too late sometimes.
Right.
So we still end up dying, and there's no reason for that.
I agree, especially in today's day. I agree 100%. I totally agree. Angie?
Yes.
It's time for you.
Okay.
Angie, this is my question for you, Angie. Angie, as a volunteer,